getting promoted, how to raise your hand and say, hey, I want that job. You know, I've been leading and managing people for a super long time. It's interesting that a lot of people want more. They want more responsibility. They want to move up, but they don't say anything. They don't want to have the conversation with their boss, or they're embarrassed, or they just don't know how to approach it, or they don't want confrontation or whatever, or maybe they're shy. And so they think, you know, their boss can just read their mind. But a lot of times I've noticed that people just won't say anything, but deep down, there's a desire to move up and want more, but they just don't talk about it. I want to share a story with you and hope that it encourages you to raise your hand. True story. I don't know if I've shared this from the Riderflex podcast. 2008, I was at like a director / VP level for an apparel company. It was fall of 2008. So for those of you that remember, it was a bad situation in the economy. Lots of businesses were struggling. It was a major crash. It was bad news all around. So the company I worked for definitely was struggling. We were in a free fall. It was wholesale and retail apparel. I was on the retail side. My channel was doing better than the company overall. So the area that I ran was performing decent compared to the situation overall. So I was doing okay, and I had a good reputation with the owners, et cetera. Anyway, here's what happened. The company was struggling. We went through several months, and you know, it was bad news, et cetera. We were in a conference room. A bunch of leaders were in a conference room having a meeting, and the owner, one of the owners, super passionate, super emotional about the situation. She, you know, at one point in the meeting in the conference room, she kind of slams her hand down on the table. You know, she slams her hand down and she says, somebody has got to do something. That's what she said. I don't know if those are the exact words, but it's pretty damn close. It was something like that. And nobody said anything. You know, it's pretty silent because it was kind of an emotional moment, and lots of VPs sitting around the table, and everybody's just kind of sitting there, right? Kind of frozen. And it was bad news. Everybody knew it was bad news. Numbers were bad. Cash flow situation was bad. So afterwards, that afternoon, I go into her office. and I said, hey, you said somebody has to do something. Here I am. I'm ready to help. I'll do whatever it takes. By the way, my channel, my department is performing better than, you know, everybody else's at the time. I'm willing to take that leadership skill and knowledge and spread it to the rest of the company. If you want to give me a shot at something bigger, I'm happy to help. So I raised my hand. I just went in there and said, yeah, I'll do it. Anyway, to make a long story short, a couple of executives that were above me at the time that had been struggling, and they were in hot water already, they were let go. And I got promoted to chief operating officer, which essentially at the time was basically like the CEO, because the owners were kind of fractional part-time CEOs / owners. They gave me the COO title, but in essence, I was running the company just like that. Boom. I went from being like a director level over just retail to all of a sudden in charge of a $40 million wholesale retail company. Now, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. and it was, you know, it was in a free fall situation. We were almost out of cash. The bank was crashing down on us. I mean, it was, you know, talk about trial by fire. I learned a shit ton in about 6 months on how to run a company, save a company, do a turnaround, et cetera. So wonderful experience. In fact, that moment was when I entered, you know, what would be C-level, so to speak, and actually went from tactical work of running a department to strategy and overall vision of running a company. I mean, it's just a whole different level. The owners gave me that opportunity. I raised my hand. I said I would do it. They put me in that position. I wasn't ready, but I learned a lot. We worked hard, and we did do a turnaround, by the way, went through a turnaround and saved the situation. And I learned a ton, and I'm super grateful for that opportunity. It was hell at the time, but super grateful. I mean, that was my moment to kind of enter C-level. So super grateful to the owners. Wonderful experience. We got through it. The point of this episode is really this, like, even if you're not ready, right? Even if you don't think you have enough experience, maybe your background doesn't match, maybe you're not the perfect candidate at the time. If you're in an internal situation, do not be afraid to raise your hand. Tell somebody, the owners, the executives, tell them, say, hey, I'm ready for more. I'll do more. Yeah, I know I don't have the experience, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Give me a shot. Raise your hand. Speak up. It's amazing what it can do for your career. And there is your Riderflex tip of the day.